and anticipate their behavior. You speak of digital dictatorship.
Yes.
Is that what is going on or happening or coming into being in China, for example? Would you go as far?
It's not there yet anywhere in the world because still the technology is not perfected. It's not, but we are making huge steps in that direction, not just in China, but in many other places around the world. Also in democratic countries, like my own home country of Israel, which has basically the biggest, one of the biggest laboratories for surveillance technologies in the world is in the occupied territories. And the technology developed there is then sold to all kinds of regimes all over the world, like the latest
in Saudi Arabia,
in
for
Saudi
example.
Arabia, like I don't know personally, but publications say that the program that the Saudis used to hack Jeff Bezos's phone was Israeli technology, and part of the warming relations between Israel and these countries is because they want the technology, and the same with the U.S. There are people who describe China as the center of state surveillance, but the US is the center of surveillance capitalism. And having a corporation know more about you than you know about yourself could be as dangerous as having a government.
Is it still possible to do something to change that? As an individual or as a state, I don't know?
As an individual, it's limited. I mean, the best thing you can do as an individual is get to know yourself better because it's basically a race. Who knows you best in the world? If the better you know yourself, you're better able to protect yourself because then it's more difficult for these corporations or governments to use your weaknesses against you. Like with fake news. Fake news work to a large extent by exploiting your pre-existing biases. If you already have a bias against, say, immigrants, you will far more easily believe a fake news story about, I don't know, a gang of immigrants raping local women.
So, but how do you get to that point? Is that a matter of education, of awareness?
So on the individual level, there are many different methods. I personally do meditation. I do Vipassana meditation. I meditate 2 hours every day to get to know myself better, to stay in the game. Other people go to psychotherapy. They use arts. People use sports, hiking in nature as a means to just get to know who they really are. It's becoming more and more important. But ultimately, we need to act on the political level. Individuals cannot do it by themselves.
Yeah, because it can really change society, is
Completely.
What you're saying.
It's not just...
It can lead to new classes in a way where there's a super elite and a superfluous class that's left behind by the advances in technology, artificial intelligence as well.
Completely. I mean, the amount of data now and the sophistication of AI that analyzes the data is such that this is now the key for controlling countries and economies. So if we don't take action and political action to make sure that the benefits of AI are distributed between everybody, and nobody, no single corporation or a small group accumulates all the data and all the power that comes with it, if we don't take this kind of action, we could see the greatest inequality that ever existed. Inequality both within countries and also between countries, because we now have an AI arms race between in the world. You know, like in the 19th century, that a few countries industrialized first and then conquered the whole world. It can happen again with AI. At present, China and the US are leading in the AI arms race. And if we aren't careful, we will see a new wave of kind of data colonialism, that many countries becomes just data colonies. If you have enough data, you don't need to send soldiers. Just imagine what the situation in 20 years in a country when somebody in Beijing or in San Francisco knows the entire medical and personal history of every judge and every politician and every journalist. And they know their, the sexual escapades and the corrupt dealings and the mental weaknesses of every politician, every judge, every army officer, every business person. In
So
such a
total
situation,
control.
you don't need to send an army. It's already a data colony.